Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your July 2023 Astro-Tarot scope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Saggy, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody. You should always use your own discernment. But also, if you're only going to watch one of these, please make sure it's your ascendant because it's likely to be the most accurate. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So I'm going to pop these to the side because those are for your moons. Sorry, it's my tattoo, one of my tattoos peeking out there. All right, so for your the first transit that I would like to get into to take a wee look at is on the 1st of July, so right out the gate, the stuff starts, right? On the 1st of July, Venus is going to square Uranus. Now, this is a big deal for a few reasons. The first one being, this is the first pass of this transit, meaning because Venus is going to go retrograde and Uranus will also go retrograde, we're going to have this 2 more times. So whatever shows up for you right out of the gate at the beginning of the month, you are likely to be revisiting this, or certainly it's going to be a theme or a rumble in the background for some time. Now, it's also worth noting, I've totally forgot to mention here, so every month I'm going to start putting in an extra nugget of information, and that nugget of information is your themes for the month. So your themes for this month are legalities and integrity, personal and professional life. Why? Because your 9th house is having a big activation this month. There's going to be a lot happening for you in that space. Now, this first transit is, like I said, you know, it's really because Venus is in your 9th, Uranus is in your 6th over there in Taurus, right? So Venus in Leo, Uranus in Taurus. This is about refining your diet or maybe even discovering new ways to support your body. It could also be some kind of challenge that comes up with pets. If you've got any, that's definitely possible. And it could be that they end up costing you, or there's some kind of surprise expense that comes up with pets and or animals, right? So I hope that's not the case, but just something to be mindful of. This is a day for action, whether it's by choice, or whether it's by force. This is a day for action, and it will depend largely on what you feel in your body. So this is a day to really pay attention to it. Like if you've got naysayers and stuff in your midst, or someone who doesn't really support you as much as they say they do, this is probably where they're going to be revealed, because the 6th house can be enemies as well. It's also potentially that this comes about because of a clash of beliefs or opinions. There's a grand fire trine on this day as well, because the moon will actually be in your sign at this time. So that's like extra energy that you personally can really tap into, because you know the energy is harmonious for your specific element. All right, so for this you have the Star card, beautiful. You've got the Knight of Swords and you've got the Queen of Swords. So an Aquarius woman may feature for you in some way, shape or form. The reason I say that is because you've got the Queen of Swords and you've got the Star card. Another way this potentially shows up as well is if you have, for those of you that specifically have Aquarius teenagers, boy or girl, doesn't matter, or however they identify, but those of you that have children that are Aquarian teenagers, or maybe even an Aquarius that you work with or interact with, this could be a day where you guys really clash on something. So be mindful of this, because there's a potential for really harsh words coming through with this triplet. The other thing with that Star card as well, you could be seeing something for what it can be or what its potential is, and somebody else may not necessarily share your vision. And I've got to be honest with you, usually you're able to really convince people, you know, yes, this is the right thing to do, or like most of the time you can talk people round. This time, if you try it, I think you're going to end up breaking a situation, you know, especially if this is a friend or a colleague of some sort. If it's not, and this person is a bit of a naysayer and is, you know, kind of always negative or always dumping on your ideas, you may really kind of go in for them around this time and give them a piece of your mind, and woe betide that person. On the 11th of July, Mercury, the lord of haste, speed, movement, transactional money, and all of those wonderful things, and merchandise and mercenaries, is coming into your ninth house. So this is really bringing a good load of speed. The ninth house is a house that you naturally have an affinity to because it's ruled by Sagittarius in the chart, right? So what this suggests to me is that you're coming into a space of allowing yourself to really think big, to think broad like you usually do. But what I like about it is there's a potential for international communications that are coming in here for this whole month. So if you're applying for a visa, this is a great time to do it. I would say actually, Mercury in the ninth, moving through the ninth, if you've got any sort of legal paperwork or documentation that really does need to be sorted, or that you really want to get out there into the world, put it in this month, because the chances are it'll happen, and it will happen in sort of almost potentially record time. If you get in before the 22nd of July, and I would say probably, let's say from up to the 15th of July, because once that point happens, Venus is really going to start her, she goes retrograde on the 22nd of July. Unless you were born with a Mercury or a Venus retrograde in your chart, in which case, it works slightly different. But I would just be mindful, because obviously Venus is in this space for quite a while now already. Now, it also suggests as well that you might be really keen at this time to transcend the minutiae, but unfortunately you're still going to have to I wouldn't do that, all right? Pay attention to the details, no matter how much you don't want to at this time. As the ruler of your career and your relationship houses, Mercury in the ninth is asking you what you want to share, and how what you have to share can really help or benefit others whilst promoting who you really are. So this is you I feel like you're working on something behind the scenes that you're creating, that you are eventually going to sort of release out into the world. So this could be really great. For this, you've got the Queen of Pentacles. So slow and steady is going to win the race. Easy does it. With the Knight of Swords, or should I say the Page of Swords, and the Judgment card. So what comes through here is a lot of the ideas that you have are potentially quite revolutionary. So something that you're planning to share with the world, you have to make sure that it's the right timing, all right? There's something about this whole transit of Mercury moving through the ninth for you that speaks to timing, and also speaks to very big or profound change of your personal belief structure. And you will know that you're ready to embody whatever this new change is, because you will feel it in your physical body. It's like whatever decision you make around the 11th of July, it settles into your physical body, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I actually feel a lot better right now. So I love this for that. Now, in terms of the next transit is the 20th of July. Mars is going to oppose Saturn. So Mars in Virgo, Saturn in Pisces. This is happening for you across your 4th house, which is Pisces, and your 10th house, which is Virgo. Right, so this is about your home, career, and family ties versus your public persona and status. So we've been having eclipses in, I've been having eclipses, should I say, in the 4th and 10th houses, and I gotta say, this opposition is likely to pack a very similar impact to that. Maybe not so much about fate, but Saturn definitely is karma, and is Mars is definitely like a releasing or a severing energy. So Mars in your 10th house is making you feisty, proactive, and really go-getting when it comes to the career and the status, whereas Saturn in the 4th house is saying no, you've got responsibilities here at home, with your home, your family, your children, your actual literal property, or even just your your heritage. Maybe it's distant family, maybe your parents, etc., that need you at this time. So it's like your responsibilities to your familial ties and what you really require, desire, and want to go after for yourself in the career are coming at, they're literally opposing each other. So be mindful of this, because it might be that where you want more pleasure from the career at all costs, Saturn as the ruler of your second and third houses is reminding you that money won't make itself and that you need more of a structured and a solid approach to fulfilling what you want. So it's basically saying you can have what you want, but you are going to need to put a much more solid plan and structure in place for making it happen. For this, you've got the High Priestess, so there's a potentially a spiritual element to this with the Two of Pentacles. So you've got two twos there because the High Priestess herself is a two. So two twos represents a bond, a pact, or an accord. And then you've got the Nine of Swords. So it looks like you, excuse me, it's not even Capricorn yet. It looks like you're really starting to consider wherein you're like, you might be worried about like, these are the things that I want, nothing seems to be working. Maybe you're having to do things very differently to what you usually do, which as a mutable sign you're usually not that opposed to, but it looks like something that you've got really kind of comfortable with is sort of being rocked in a sense. And also with that High Priestess there, this is potentially a conversation around money or finances that happens behind closed doors that potentially you're a bit like, you know what, I don't want this to get out. This is not for everybody's eyes or ears. So I'm intrigued. Obviously, you know, you won't be putting that in the comments, but I am intrigued for sure. And then the fourth and final transit that I want to look at on the 23rd of July, Mercury this time is going to square Uranus across your 9th and 6th houses, and Venus is going to go retrograde in that 9th house. So this feels like you're forced to level up the systems of your work or your routines in some way. And it's like the way that you do your daily life or things on that daily level is about to be turned upside down, right? In a square to Uranus, the ruler of your 3rd house, this is some kind of piece of information or a conversation that comes in that has you looking at a connection in a very different way. Venus retrograde at the same time is providing you with the right sort of nudge and potentially even like wonderful experience, but to help you shift or change a belief structure or pattern in some way. Mercury is helping you articulate the changes that are happening to that belief structure. And because it's Uranus that's incorporated in all of this, it might be pointing out that what is still off base and where you are kind of actually taking everything that you're learning or adapting right now. So it could be, you know, that in itself as well could be really interesting. For this, you've got the 5 of Pentacles. With the Temperance card, Temperance has been very active, and it's happening here with the, that's really interesting. I think it was Libra got the Temperance card with the 5 of Cups. I wonder, excuse me, so many yawns. I wonder if we're about to see some kind of financial sector correction. I hope I'm wrong on this front, but it does look like it's possible. What also speaks with this as well is because it's the Hanged Man. The 23rd of July is a time where you are supposed to delve deeply into your spiritual self and or practice, right? That 9th house is being lit up in a really powerful way. So it's your spiritual stuff, your spiritual routines, your spiritual cleanliness is really going to be very important for you around this time. So be careful or mindful of what or who you're mixing and mingling with at that time. And also it's going to be an intense time anyway, so this might be a time where you personally feel like pulling away from the world for a bit in order to get really clear, you know, in order to come back to yourself in a much clearer way. It does look like you're having a big idea though that could be helping you address a financial problem, challenge or issue. All right, so I'm going to pop this here for your moons. So the Capricorn full moon is on July the 3rd. This is happening for you in your 2nd house of money, finances and resources. This is putting a spotlight on the money that you earn, and it's potentially helping you earn more money, but it's also helping you realize what you do with the money that you have. For this, you've got the gate 18 and perfection. So you are meant to clean up your money sector, but you're not meant to stress yourself out about it. And if this that's going to be the marker, right? If you feel really stressed and like, oh, you know, money, finances, resources, then you'll know you're off kilter and something needs to be adjusted or adapted. When it comes to your new moon in the sign of Cancer for you, which is happening in the 8th house for you, that's other people's money, finances and resources. There's a potential here to make more money through or with other people and potentially have it be a passive income in some way, shape or form. So what I like most about this is there are possibilities here across the board when it comes to your finances. And that gate 24 and returning, it's not just about going back to the way that something is, it's about bringing old ideas back to the forefront and maybe even recycling some of the work that you've already done. I mean, I know if you're anything like me, I have a whole bunch of files on my laptop in person, like things that I've written down. And some of these things come to, I mean, Mindset Magic, I had for like 2 years before I even put it out into the world. Right? Like sometimes sometimes rather than needing to create something new, we just need to go back and refine or redefine what it is that we've been working on up until this point. All right. So with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic month. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care and I'll see you soon.